Veduvana, Bevari mini boro, Beba magimi, Beno gazimi, Bimila veduvana.
We're not going to cuss at you. We're not going to yell at you.
We're just going to give you the best of information and entertainment that everyone can agree on.
105.5, The Splash.
Splash FM 105.5.
Mamas, on a good one, For your picking bright smile, make sure say them they brush every day with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection because Colgate locks calcium in.
We're kicking some folks out of the market this season.
I tell you, okay, everyone else in this bed with me, they're losers.
We're the station that beats all the competition. And we'll prove it as soon as we hear any competition.
105.5 Splash.
Great Friday morning to you. Welcome to another fantastic time with your integrity station, Splash 105.5 FM. Time check, it's 1 minute gone past 7 o'clock this beautiful Friday morning. And of course, it's Friday, the 26th day in February 2021. 2 days to wrap up the month of February. And we're very grateful, very thankful to be here this morning. Without further ado, I welcome you to the last edition and the bonus edition of our English newspaper review program called Straight from the Dailies. We'll be looking at the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa, and I'll be your host this morning on the morning show, the breakfast show, your favorite breakfast show on the radio here in the southwest of the country, as we rummage through the newspapers to find you very interesting news stories this morning. So stay with me. I'd like you at some point to also share your reactions and contributions by sending text messages. We cannot take calls on the Friday edition of Straight from the Dailies, but hey, we can take your text messages. And if you're on Twitter, perchance, please tweet at Splash FM 1055. Tweet at Splash FM 1055. I'll definitely be reading. All right, let's dive in real quickly to the stories making headlines this morning, starting from COVID-19 updates, with Nigeria recording 634 new COVID-19 infections. 634 new COVID-19 infections. So please be careful. Take the right precautions whenever you're out there. Coronavirus is still out there, like we like to say. Also in papers this morning, trading activities pick up at Shasha Market, and that is definitely good news. As we've seen what happened in the past, or about 2 weeks ago in Shasha Market. Nice to know that life is, coming back to that area. That area is very crucial, to, food, in here in Oyo State. Trading activities at the Shasha Market Ibadan picked up on Wednesday, following Tuesday's order by Governor Seyi Makinde that the market be reopened. Though the market was not clogged as usual, there was the typical offloading of trucks of tomatoes, pepper, onions, and its subsequent sale to wholesalers and retailers. While those with plank space sold their well-arranged bags of tomatoes, pepper, onions, those with burnt shops without plank space were seeing in clusters sulking over their losses in the Shasha crisis. Well, I hope that something can definitely... I know that the governor governor has some things in store for those who've lost properties and who've lost stuff. But I wonder, will food be cheap at this time, or would it be expensive? I wonder, for those who have been there, perhaps let us know. Not to say to, take advantage of the situation, but I'm just wondering. So would people go there now because they feel like, obviously, these people have a lot to fight for. I need a lot more. And so would they be selling their, their foodstuff at a very cheap rate, or would it be more expensive? All right, someone text us or tweet at Splash FM 1055. Also in the papers this morning, U.S. mission in Nigeria congratulates Biden appointee Eno Ebong. It's always nice to see a Nigerian name doing something globally. Nice to see Nigerians doing some things nationally in their community, but always inspiring when you see Nigerians. And I really hope that we can, create that conducive environment, because Nigerians seem to thrive whenever the system is right, whenever the system functions. So Nigerians can thrive, only that we need to create an avenue for them to do so. All right, still looking at the headlines this morning from the Vanguard newspaper. Osinbajo to lead discussions at Bank CEOs Summit on economic growth tomorrow. Also in the papers this morning, police killed my brother, shot me thrice, petitioner tells Osun panel. That's in the Vanguard newspaper. And I guess for some people who say, nobody was shot during the NSAS, time, well, the inquiry is still going on. Here, petitioner Mr. Teslemi Bitoye on Thursday narrated how he and his younger brother were shot by police over an offense they knew nothing about. Bitoye disclosed this in a petition at the resumed sitting of the Osun Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Police Brutality, Human Rights Violations, and related extrajudicial killings in the state capital. He added that he was shot 3 times at different parts of his body when they visited a cousin at Erin-Oshun in 2017, while his younger brother Akim Ibitoye was shot, died on the spot. This was even as the wife of the deceased, Kafayat Ibitoye, urged a panel to prevail on the police authorities to release the corpse of her spouse that had been withheld and kept in the morgue since 2017. All right, let's look at more stories real quickly. Here's an interesting story. I know people have had a lot of, things to say and controversy, more like conspiracy theories about 5G this and 5G that. It's in the news this morning, and it says the National Security Advisor, NSA Major General Babagana Monguno, yesterday expressed serious national security concerns and caution over the deployment of the 5th generation 5G network. According to him, if wrongly deployed and left in the hands of the wrong persons, it could be a threat to national security. Speaking yesterday in Abuja during Senate investigative hearing on the present status of 5G network in Nigeria and its technological impact on citizens, Monguno, who spoke through his Director of Communications, Balafa Kandu, said that 5G network will require telecommunications operations in Nigeria to upgrade their equipment to the new technology adaptable 5G network, which, if not properly deployed, could serve as tools for eavesdropping, cyber attacks, and even espionage by external forces. The investigative hearing was organized by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, APC Lagos Central-led Senate Joint Committee on Communications, Science and Technology, ICT and Cybercrimes, and Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases. According to him, the office of the NSA shared its fears with the Nigerian Communications Commission during its initial trial of the technology in the country and expects that the concerns will be properly addressed in the draft national policy when it is ready. Right now it is 7:08, 8 minutes gone past 7 from Splash 105.5 FM. We're looking at the stories making headlines, and today is the last edition of Straight from the Dailies for the week. And of course, it's also a very small package, which means we haven't got time to take your calls, but we would love to take your text messages, so do feel free to share your messages via text message or on Twitter. We'd definitely love to hear your contributions on Twitter. Let's take a few more headlines this morning, and from the Vanguard newspaper still. Unemployed man 25 bags 1 month community service for stealing 42,000 naira. That's something we definitely should talk about. How, obviously I like that it's given him community service. Don't know too much about the story, but a lot of people have argued that, there's so many, our prisons are congested. There's so many people in prison who haven't even had their day in court. There's so many people in prison who are in prison for stealing something as little as Gary. People like that. Can we look at alternatives? Our prisons are congested, so can we look at the alternative of community service for people whose crimes are not, as heinous? There are people who are roaming about who are former leaders who have stolen billions, who have pillaged this country. And, they're still walking around and moving around, and then there's somebody who stole 1,000 naira, who's in prison, who hasn't had his day in court. Obviously, the injustice there is we need to do better and look deeper into making sure, we decongest our prisons. We look at other alternatives for punishment or, correction, if I may say so. All right. Here's also another interesting news in the Vanguard newspaper. And it says, PDP bigger than you, Fayoshe's aide tells Makinde. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has been told to stop sucking like a baby and acting like he's over and above everyone in the People's Democratic Party while disrespecting those who stayed in the party between 2007 and 2017 when he was wandering from one political party to the other. Larry Olayinka, the aide to the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayoshe, who was reacting to a statement on Thursday by Makinde, warning the party's national legal advisor, Emmanuel Enoidem, said, "It is strange that someone who got the PDP ticket in 2018 through the benevolence of some leaders of the party and members of the National Working Committee can now be issuing a warning to the national legal advisor for simply doing his job." Olayinka, who said Governor Makinde should stop parading himself as the premier of the Southwest, added that those of us who stayed in the PDP to defend and hold it together when Makinde was wandering from one party to the other deserve some level of respect from him because we are his seniors in this party. On this one, I speak for myself and not as media aide to Fayoshe or spokesperson of the Southwest PDP. And I wish to tell Governor Makinde that he's no more a committed member of PDP than me. The governor needs to be told that the party is bigger than him and he can't be ordering NWC members around as if they are his aides. The governor should also be mindful that not everyone can be bought. The legal advisor and other national officers, as well as leaders of the party that Makinde is now disrespecting, were there to help him when he returned to the party in 2017 after he had contested the governorship election as a candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP. In 2015, Governor Makinde was prevailed upon to accept the senatorial ticket and stay in the PDP, but he refused. He instead decamped to SDP. So when did he become more of a loyal member of PDP than people like us? Did they say Makinde not take PDP to court in 2014 over the governorship primary election using one Demola Adelowo that he left in the party to continue with the case while he moved to SDP? When he could not get the PDP senatorial ticket in 2007, did he not go to court against PDP and Senator Kamoru Adedibu to court, and was the case not in court till 2011 that he returned to the party? Isn't it funny that they say Makinde, who took PDP to court twice, is now the one issuing a warning to the national legal advisor to the party for simply acting to protect the law and the party? Maybe he wants to come and take over the NWC and run it along with Oyo State. Okay, all right. So, I guess the PDP is having its own, not its own issue, its own issues here somewhat with the governor and, of course, the legal advisor and basically some elderly PDP people. Well, I guess there's seniority in politics. People will tell you that. So there are people who have been there for a long time, and so they expect certain things. And of course, if the governor is choosing not to sort of bow down to these powers that be, well, we'll have to see what happens with him and this party. All right, let's take more headlines. Nigeria needs private security on vessels to tackle piracy. This is a report you can read in the Punch newspaper. A quick look at, in the Vanguard newspaper, I beg your pardon. A quick look at the Punch, so we'll take a few more stories. Differential wage bill, or your Delta Gumbi. Others back National Assembly as Labour fumes. This is in the Punch newspaper. And it's an interesting one where states like Oyo, Delta, Gombe, Akwa Ibom and Cross River State have supported a bill seeking to decentralize the negotiation on the minimum wage in the country. Officials of the state in separate interviews with the Punch on Thursday said centralized minimum wage negotiation negated the principle of true federalism. But state chapters of the Nigeria Labour Congress, who spoke to a Punch correspondent, expressed anger over the bill, saying it was against interests of workers. Recall that the bill seeking to remove the negotiation on minimum wage from the exclusive list to the concurrent list passed the second reading in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. According to the sponsor, Gadbadati Mohammed APC Akano, the appeal is to allow both the federal and state governments to freely negotiate minimum wage with their workers in line with our federalism. Another great topic to explore one of these days, as you know, it just says that those who are able, some people argue that those who are able to pay the minimum wage and beyond can do so, but then those who cannot will definitely struggle, and it will cause disparity among workers. But like I said, it's definitely a conversation for another day, one to definitely explore, as that's all we can do today on Straight from the Dailies. Thank you very much for listening, for being a part of the program, and just being here. We definitely appreciate you. And we've got Beyond the Surface at 8 o'clock, so join us then, because we have an interesting topic that we'd like you to also be a part of. My name is Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good morning.
Splash FM 105.5.
Fresh breath.